Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast, where I, your host, Xavier Cruz, a lifelong wrestling fan, will take a lifelong friend through the action, the joys, and the drama of the world of professional wrestling. My co-host, Kelsey Silva, has been bitten by the wrestling bug, and I want to invite you to join us as I take her through the moments that made me a fan. So if you're new to wrestling and would like to get brought up to speed, or a fan who would like to relive some classic matches, promos, and segments through fresh eyes, join us as we embark on a journey through the Attitude Era and beyond. Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the February 13th edition of Thursday Raw Thursday. And the match card is as follows. In the opening match, we had Rocky Maivia taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley for the Intercontinental Championship. In our second match, we had the debut of the Headbangers against Bob Holly and Aldo Montoya. Savio Vega takes on The Undertaker. Stone Cold Steve Austin takes on Psycho Sid. Farouk and Crush take on the British Bulldog and Owen Hart for the Tag Team Championships. And in our main event, we had Bret Hart versus Vader.
Like, how insane. Like, you all heard that, right? Like, every single match, you're like, whoa.
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 Right. As they kept like telling us more matches like throughout the show, we were just like, this episode is stacked. Everybody is on here.
Because it wasn't like they said everything in the beginning. It was like, as it was going on, I was like, all right, and then you're gonna see Vader and Bret Hart, and we were like, what? Like it just kept happening that way. I guess they were like, if we're gonna put Raw on a Thursday, we have to go off. Like, we have to go crazy.
Yeah,
Thursday Raw Thursday.
They went crazy. This is the final stop before the upcoming pay-per-view, the In Your House, the Final Four,
which kind of snuck up on us.
Really snuck up on us. Not like kinda. We were both just like, is that the next one?
Yeah, like and I don't know why. I feel like because they announced the Fatal 4-Way at the previous pay-per-view, right? Or the Monday Night Raw right after.
The Monday night after, yeah.
Right, because there was but that feels like it just happened. It just feels so fresh, and I don't know if it's because they've been like playing the clips like so much, because they also had that episode of Monday Night Raw that was like Royal Rumble Raw,
yeah.
So it just almost felt so fresh still that it seemed like the Fatal 4-Way was like so far away still.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
And it's right now. It's happening literally next week, or technically in a few days, but for us, the episode will be next week.
And
but really crazy.
Yeah, and if we weren't looking forward to this enough, now this match has taken on an even greater level of importance, because it is now for the WWF Championship, because we'll get into it later when he comes out, but Shawn Michaels had to relinquish the WWF Championship due to injury. So
insane.
To kind of have to pivot, we have now made the Fatal 4-Way a WWF Championship match, and
instead of it just a shot at the
instead of it just a number one contendership match. So everybody everybody just got a little bit more skin in the game. So if we weren't looking forward to it already, now it's just got an extra added like level of intensity and excitement and importance like around it.
And what a way to do that. Like, that's like so crazy. It's like, okay, you want the title, you have to fight 3 other guys at the same time.
Right.
Like, I mean, it was already crazy, but like for a shot at the title, it's like, all right, like, you know, like prove your grit or whatever. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? But now it's just like, it feels like feral on a whole other level in the best way. Like,
absolutely. I agree. And it showed through the interactions of all 4 competitors during this episode. This episode
was so wild. And it was in Lowell, Massachusetts, in this like tiny like auditorium. And let me tell you, I've been to Lowell, Massachusetts. They get down, girl. Like when I lived in New England, I went to like Lowell to like visit friends or something, and I was like, y'all get down over here. Like, this is a great like, and it shows like these people were active.
Yeah,
ready.
There is something really like fun. I really love like both like small like venue concerts, small venue like but to do something that is that, like, you know, the WWF is so over the top, like wrestling itself is so over the top, and then to just like confine that energy in such a small space,
It's
it
so crazy.
it
It's
just
like
feel
shaking a soda can.
oh, and then we just got to watch the inside go absolutely buck wild.
Yep.
So
So cool.
yeah, oh, absolutely. So we're gonna get into our opening match. We had Rocky Maivia taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley for the Intercontinental Championship, which is a bit of a surprise, mostly just because it's not like we've seen like tons of Rocky at this up
No.
to this point.
No.
He's just really like a smattering. Um, but I'm here for it. I was all
Totally.
about it.
Yeah, completely.
The Rocky Maivia and Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, I'm just gonna call them The Rock and Triple H because we all know who they are.
Yeah.
Have great chemistry. This is just like the beginning of a feud that's gonna go on for like a minute. They have some really, really good matches.
If this is an indicator, then yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it was also fun that this happened to happen this week because it was announced that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was elected to the like board of directors for TKO, which is the company that now owns the WWE and UFC. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really like a very much like a full circle moment. There's been lots of posts in the wrestling meme like world of these kind of early matches between like The Rock and Triple H and kind of where they are now, and that
Yeah.
now The Rock is on the board of directors and Triple H is running the entirety of creative for the WWE now, which is absolute insanity.
So crazy.
Yeah, it just happened to be
So
just like
crazy.
it just a well-timed little
Little
moment
moment.
that it happened this week of all weeks.
Yeah,
Uh,
so cool. Love when that happens.
oh yeah, so they have great chemistry. They're going back and forth. Um, there really isn't like at no point in this match do you be like, yeah, he's got it. Like any one of them has it in the bag.
It
Absolutely
was
in the
so
bag.
back and forth.
But the Honky Tonk Man makes his presence known. And Kelsey pointed him out first. I don't understand how I didn't immediately grasp him because he has the loudest outfit on
He's like the
everywhere.
most unsubtle person because I was like, oh God. And Xavier was like, what? And I was like, the honky dog man. He was like, what? I
No,
was
he's
like,
like,
right there.
do you remember whatchamacallit? I don't remember this. I feel like this is specifically from a movie. Do you remember like Flair, like on like your Bennigan's like waiters like
Oh my
vest?
God.
He is like the
Yes.
physical embodiment of Flair.
Yes, dude.
Like
Flair. And then like, oh my God. And then they made Flair, I feel like a Facebook thing. It was like you could send people Flair and it was
oh
like
yeah,
pins
it
and
was like
stuff.
it was like a poke, but like upgraded. It was like
Yeah, it was
their
like
like
but you
next
could have like a
level.
Flair board. Oh my God,
Oh
like what
my
did we
god! Wow,
do on the
what a
internet, dude?
memory!
Yeah. They're
Like,
like Bennigan's closed, so now you can have Flair on your Facebook page.
right,
We're
and we were
so
like,
old.
oh my god! Oh, don't I know it? I remember when I first got on Facebook. It was like
Me too.
literally like right when they had like allowed people out of college to do it when we got
Yeah.
on, and I remember like joining, and my aunt at the time was like in college, and immediately I like signed up like got it all set up, started adding people, and immediately after my aunt accepts my friend request, I get a message. She's just like, "How are you on here?" And I was
You are 12.
no, literally in eighth grade, and
Yeah.
like seventh or eighth grade, and
Yeah.
so they're like, I was just like, they opened it to the world, they let me here. I don't know what to
Here
tell
I
you.
am. Knock knock.
um, so yeah, just a little tidbit of our little history. So the Hunky
Well,
Talk Man joins the commentary team, mostly just to talk shit.
oh
Really,
my
he
God. Okay. I know that I had like a renaissance moment with Honky Tonk Man where I was like, holy shit, like, wow, he's actually so impressive and like that's amazing. Whatever. He do be irritating though.
he
Oh
do
my
be
God.
irritating.
Like, shut up, Honky Tonk Man. Like,
He
I
like comes
respect
out.
you, but like, shut up.
Yeah, no, you can respect what he does in the ring and not enjoy him as a
Anywhere
person.
else.
There
Ugh.
are a lot of instances where that's the case, but
Yeah.
yeah, so basically he really just comes down on like Rocky Maivia for the most part. Like he gives like Triple H his like due, I guess, but he's like he's good, not great. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. He's like, it was so
there
dumb. It made no sense for him to be there. Like, because you're like,
If you're
okay,
not recruiting either of them, then like,
then
why
why
are
are
you
you
here?
here?
Right.
Like, and not even to like make an announcement. He literally was like, because they were like, okay, so like, who are you gonna pick? And he goes, I'm not ready to make that announcement at this time, and you'll know when I know. And it's like, all right, then leave. Like,
Right.
what are we doing?
Why are you dragging your sparkly ass out here then? Like, I don't understand.
It was so weird.
So the match continues, and it is getting like more and more obvious that Hunter is getting frustrated because he can't put away the Rocky Maivia, just can't do it. He just, for some
Literally,
reason, like, he just won't stay down. And like, as far as like bell to bell goes, it's probably like one of the best Triple H matches we've seen. Mostly
without a
just
doubt.
because it wasn't so immediately obvious like how he was going to cheat and win, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little confused as to, one, where's his bodyguard again? Like, what happened to that?
And they like alluded, they're like, but he might intervene or he might not. He might not. Of course, he didn't come out. There was no
He didn't
mention
come
of him
out. There was no
again.
mention of him. Also, last week, Hunter retains the title using the brass knuckles. Where were those?
It
Like,
was
where's the consistency is
it
what I'm
was
asking.
weird because I think the reason this was such a great match is there was like really no trickery. Like
No.
there wasn't really any sort of like anything like crazy where like it's not like, getting hit with the knuckles or it
Somebody
like
coming in or
overtly cheating. Like there was
right.
maybe like a few like holding on to the rope a little longer than you're supposed to. Like it wasn't
It was a very clean
his
match.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't Triple H's way. And but it was great because he literally like was doing insane moves. He suplexed Rocky off the top rope,
Oh yeah, he
which
did a
was
superplex.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And still didn't get him, which again, like we'll wrap it up, but or like explain how it ends. But like I think that's why it was such a good match for me. Like, because I was like, I didn't get annoyed by like, oh my god, like I hate this guy, like with the
Once
knuckles and
again,
the
yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Um, so at one point Triple H performs a pile driver on The Rock that just looks crazy. I literally just looked, pile
scary,
driver looked crazy.
scary, scary,
The
scary.
Rock's like head was like 3 inches like underneath like Triple H's thighs. He had to like land on his like basically the like tailbone of his back to just like pull it off. It just looked crazy.
Looked bad for everybody. For everybody.
And so it looks like the Rock is like out on his feet, like Triple H is trying to like pick him up into the pedigree position, and he kind of keeps like dropping, and then Triple H gets a little cocky, starts like, showing off for like the crowd, goes in to pick up the Rock again, and the Rock just kind of scoops him and just schoolboys him into a pinning situation, and to the shock of everybody, he comes out with the win and gets the Intercontinental Championship, which is his first his first singles championship, his first championship in wrestling. And no tomfoolery, no, it was nuts.
Trickery.
Nobody was expecting it. It was an upset.
It
It was
was
nice.
shocking.
Right.
It is shocking because first of all, again, like you said, we haven't really seen much of Rocky. And when we do, it's like he's usually getting his ass beat by the Nation of Domination or some other
Somebody, yeah.
iteration. Yeah, and so I was like, this is just gonna be like a good showing for The Rock, like or for Rocky. Like this is just gonna be like a cool because also think about like all of the drama surrounding the Intercontinental Championship with like um Wildman,
Gold
Ahmed
Dust.
Johnson, Goldust, like all the people who've tried to get it,
Right.
and like Rocky first shot it just out of the blue just takes
Mm-hmm.
it. So crazy.
I know. So
I
crazy.
was so shocked and I was like, man, like I feel like Mark Miro must be so pissed right now because he's tried like
Honestly,
14 times
somewhere
to
he's
get
just
it back from Triple H at this
fuming.
point. Livid, just like
And I wonder if like the psychology of Triple H not cheating is that he like underestimated Rocky so much because he's so
totally.
new that he felt like he didn't even need to do the extra step
Yeah.
as far like he would against more like established people. I think he
Yeah.
really just was like, I got this. Like, I got this in the bag.
Well, apparently
And
not.
clearly you did not. So
Girl, I am.
So
I am
Rocky
blown
Maivia
away.
is our new Intercontinental Champion
I
going
cannot
into.
believe
I
that.
know it's
I'm
absolutely
so
bonkers.
happy. Like, I'm just like shocked. I'm so happy though.
So we can't get too excited because we do know that Ahmed Johnson has a Intercontinental Championship match looming. So we can't get too pumped. I mean, I would love to see them go at it. Don't get me wrong. I
Oh yeah,
all
yeah,
over
yeah.
it.
Can't wait.
But there's a
Wow.
challenger in the wings.
Oh my
So
God. This episode was
this
crazy.
episode was absolutely bonkers.
First
So
match out the gate.
amazing. So then Doc comes out and interviews Rocky right after his win. We get the typical like, just I will always give my best. I'm gonna make the fans proud. I'm gonna make my father and grandfather proud. Like, just happy to be here. More Rocky Maivia. I will say there was a smattering of Rocky sucks chants.
Which I was surprised by.
Yeah, and there's we'll talk about it as we get a little further into The Rock's career.
Okay.
But yeah, we see the change when he goes from Rocky Maivia to The Rock, when you see how those chants start affecting him.
Ooh.
Right. We're gonna go through a period where it's just like he's gonna get to a point where he's like, I'm busting my ass for you, and you're giving me nothing. So
Yeah.
you know,
I
what would
it
that do to a
is
person? You can imagine.
totally, and I get that. It is weird to me because I don't think he's done anything overtly bad or negative or like even made such a quote unquote like splash, I guess until now, like just on
Mm-hmm.
the upset taking the title. But that where he would like warrant a Rocky sucks chant because there are people I feel like are more insane.
But do you remember when we talked about like a few episodes ago where we talked, it was probably longer than a few, but that indifference is like
This
the
is true. This is
killer
true.
and that's the thing. Up to this point, there hasn't been much to do with Rocky. He hasn't been like pulling out of the
Mm,
gates. He hasn't been like the bad guy. So really right now, I feel like the ones that are chanting like Rocky sucks are just like, we don't care. Like we don't care about you. You know what I mean?
okay, that makes way more sense because it's like it's not like he's overtly a heel. It's not like he's
I no, I don't think it's out of like any of his like character work. I think it's due to like an indifference and like they want him to show them something. You know what I mean? Like make
mm,
us want to follow you.
what did I say? People alone Massachusetts, they get down.
They get down. They're not. They'll tell you how they feel.
I love that.
So then we get a kind of like a new Fatal Four Way like promo. It's all black and white. We're like, the controversy of the Royal Rumble finish, like a new WWF champion. They all like lose their minds. They
Mhm.
play the promo like a few times. Love it though. Very, typical movie theater trailer
Yeah.
situation. And then when we get back to the episode, Sunny's music is playing. Where has
Girl,
Sunny been? Where has Sunny been?
where has she been? Because we thought, and we'll get into this later with our new mini series.
Oh, actually,
Um,
let's talk about it. So we're gonna have this upcoming Saturday is going to be the debut episode of the New to Wrestling podcast After Dark, where we will be covering mostly the Dark Side of the Ring television show, as well as some kind of just controversial stuff in the wrestling world that kind of pops up.
thank
So
God.
our episodes are on Thursday, so this upcoming Saturday is going to be the debut episode of the New to Wrestling podcast After Dark. It's going to be a little bit shorter, a little less kind of like structured. Here we kind of just go through the show.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you're going to kind of get more of our like opinions and more of us just kind of being more who we are when we hang out together.
Yeah,
Uh,
like a little less like, okay, so next, like we're gonna be like,
girl.
yeah, a little more
So if that interests you, or wrestling, drama, backstage stuff, if any of that
behind the
interests you,
scenes.
we would love for you to check us out.
Yeah,
Just
join
just
us.
another opportunity to come spend some time with us. We
Join us
appreciate
for the
it
spill sash because it's like
because there's a lot
this
to spill. There's a lot.
so much. Oh my God. Like, and we'll get into it in Saturday's episode. But I mean, I laughed, I cried, it was crazy. But
Amazing.
in this, we literally, like, at this point, based on where Sunny is in her career, I thought that at this point she had gone to ECW, but apparently not. Apparently she's just she appeared tonight. She was in a little white eyelet kind of dress, her little like wedges, and she like came out, and for some reason, I don't know if they just did this to be like, hey, remember me, or hey, because there wasn't any real purpose of her being there.
She literally just announces the next match.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be because she's
managing
the Headbangers, but no.
Nope.
She just came to announce the match.
For funsies.
Just a, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah, and like didn't sit at the announce table after, or the commentators table after. Like she just literally sat in like a chair, like on the side, and just was like,
just like watching.
And then
weird, very weird. It's a
very weird.
For how prominent she was when we talk about like the start of where we started this show, like she was introducing like the episode. She did that whole like viewer discretion is not advised, or like is advised, or whatever. Like
dude,
she had segments.
Blast off, never forget.
She was managing like the Body Donnas, then she was managing Billy and Bart Gunn, then she was managing Farouk, and then all of like as it went like just more and more, she lost clients, and now we haven't seen her in like a few weeks. But then even
she was scouting Rocky Maivia, like, so she was coming, so like it, even though she lost everybody, it felt like she was like bringing up the new roster, and I was like, okay, like what's
next? And then we just didn't see her.
Then she
radio silence,
nothing.
So it was kind of weird. And then also like when they like she starts like leaving the ring, Vince is like, always good to see Sunny. I was like, I felt
then
like
act like it
had like a weird like visit with your cousin that nobody like. Why did we do this? Like I don't understand like
it's
what
like,
this is.
It's like that meme that was like circulating for Thanksgiving when it's like when the outer family leaves and the inner family can finally sit around and like talk shit about them. So they're like,
that's literally how it felt. I'm just like,
that is like, oh, good to see you, Sunny. And then they were just like, okay.
Yeah, no, literally. So really I guess we'll see where where Sunny pops up again.
If she does, if she
and
don't.
If you want to hear more about the drama of Sunny, then check us out on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see you Saturday.
All right, so in our second match, we had the debut of the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher. So fun. I just enjoy their aesthetic.
The theme is so on brand. They like their characters, like it just seems so developed.
Right.
Like where it's like you already know and love them. Like it
you knew exactly who they were from the jump.
Yes.
Like they're wearing like band tees that are like cut off. One of them's wearing like a pearl necklace. They're both wearing skirts with
the flannel skirts.
The flannel skirts, which is like boxers underneath.
The material of like, I just know exactly how it feels. Like, do you know what I mean?
Combat boots, and like they were like, and it's because even their like mannerisms, like they were like literally moshing like in the ring, which is I love it. I love it so much, mostly because I like I spend a lot of my free time in that world,
partaking, sampling,
moving and grooving. So it's fun to see it just like in a taken out of context.
Yes, and I love that you just like told everyone that little tidbit, because like meanwhile you're wearing like a cardigan and you're
oh my god, I know. That's because I work at a bookstore.
I know, just like bookie by day, Thrasher by night. I just like love
the juxtaposition. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are all flavors. He's every woman. It's all in him.
So, amen. So
I was like waiting for it to land. I was like,
just like please. So this match was like decent. I think it was like a little. They had a couple awkward like transitions. Clunky. Like it was a little like they're getting into it with these people for the first time.
Right.
So. One, we haven't really seen much of Bob Holly and or Aldo
Bob
Montoya,
Holly.
Yet we know.
I know. I like last time we saw Bob Holly, I like waxed poetic for at least 5 minutes about how much I love Bob Holly. Underrated angel.
Underrated angel, I agree. So it was great. They had some really impressive like double team maneuvers.
I literally wrote insane moves.
Insane.
Just
Absolutely insane.
insane.
There was at one point they're in like the corner, and I don't know, Mosh picks up Thrasher, Thrasher picks up Mosh, and like just throws him onto his opponent.
Use him as a prop.
Just yeets him and just lands all over him. And then their finisher was absolutely crazy. It's a power bomb leg drop combination. So one of them sets up their opponent in the power bomb like position, gets them up while the other one is on the top rope, and while he's slamming him down, the other one jumps off the top rope to just land on his face. It was so beautifully violent.
Just so exactly so beautifully violent. And like as a finisher, like in your first showing, like sick. Absolutely sick. And it works with their imagery. Like it's just, it makes sense, because I know we've talked about this before where like some people's finishers like just don't even make sense. Like
right.
I think it was Rocky we were talking about, where like this finisher makes no sense for him.
Right.
But like this, it's hardcore. It matches their whole aesthetic. Like it was just so good. And like yes, there were some chunky moments, but like it's their first time out there. Like it was just like that was amazing. Like I just loved it.
Yeah, and like I'm very excited in that we need more teams in the tag team division. We need more just variety.
Yeah.
I feel like the Owen Hart British Bulldog storyline has been drawn out so long because there is like not another caliber like team to kind of like step up and like take it.
Yeah. Agree.
So, or at least like that we haven't already seen before.
Yes.
Like the Smoking Guns have already been the champions. The Godwins have already been the champions. Like we're out of teams.
Yeah, I didn't even realize until you said it, like how we need like some invigoration in the tag teams. Like when you talked about it, maybe not last week, but the week before, and I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Actually, it's been very stale, girl.
Right. And it's not like we've seen the Body Donnas. Like we haven't, there just hasn't been just like the influx of talent on the tag team roster to keep that storyline like interesting, or to make more storylines, I should say. Because they're really, because they have been sowing what is it, the
seeds of discord.
That's the one that between Owen and the British Bulldog for months now,
for so long. But I feel like you make a good point when you're saying like, but there's nobody that like feels like it's worth it to have like the drama really unfold like when they take it, when someone else takes it from them. Because it's like, these are people you do love. Like we love Owen Hart for the little bratty baby he is. Like I do love the Bulldog. I think he's amazing. So to have like an upset and have the title be taken from them and have this like disorganization and this collapse, like I feel like we really need like a solid contender where you're like, you're upset, but you're not that upset because you also want to see these people like
succeed.
Like, and we don't have that right now. So like, I definitely agree.
Yeah. And like my thing was like, I would have been like cool with it being like Doug Furness and Philip LaFawn if we had. I just need to see like what is the character of them, you know what I mean? Like who are they? Like do I know who they are like in the ring? Like they are phenomenal, but there's so much more to being like the top person like in your division, that's really true, than just the bell to bell. So I would love to see them like get it one day, but I personally want to see more of like a distinct like character, or like who are they? Because right now they're just like really great technical wrestlers, but that's all I can attribute to them, is that they're really great technical wrestlers.
Because I was going to say, I don't even think we've ever heard them speak.
I don't think
like, have they ever done a promo? Have they ever done an interview? Like
I don't think so. Not yet.
I don't think so. And like, so that's a good point. They are like, I love them so much. Like you said, from bell to bell, they're just amazing. But like, I literally know nothing about them. Like why they're even a tag team. Like one is from France, one is from like, I don't even know where.
Canada.
And like Canada. And so it's like what?
Right.
I don't
know. So
but that's it. That's all I got.
So I'm super excited about the Headbangers being here.
Very exciting.
Yeah, no, it's a great time. I'm very excited. So next, excuse me, we had Shawn Michaels coming out to address the fans and kind of speak more on the situation. So essentially, what is the gist of it all is that there has been apparently a lot of wear and tear on Shawn Michaels' body on account of what he. There's more wear and tear on somebody who's his size because he just has to do more. Um,
Right.
he just has to do more. He doesn't have like the body weight to like absorb a lot of these blows. Like it has taken a toll on him where basically he has to get reconstructive knee surgery. And so he comes out and there's just kind of like a general like this announcement was just shocking because he had just won the title at the Royal Rumble. Like it had just
Mm-hmm.
happened. So to kind of have to, and this is the name of the game in the WWFE is like you got to make decisions quick
Yeah.
because stuff like that happens. Where I'm sure they had a whole plan laid out for Shawn going in because we are where we are right now. We're in February. We're about 2 months out from WrestleMania, which is the biggest show of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So like they definitely had a plan in place for WrestleMania, and now their main guy has been removed from the picture, which is tough. That's a tough hand to have to kind of like navigate. So he comes out and basically he kind of addresses the crowd. He's like, I've never had a doctor say to my face that like I may never be able to do this again. And that was told to me recently. And he's like, there's something like you all need to know about me. Like, I can't do anything halfway, half-assed. Like, I'm either all in or I'm not gonna do it. So and then you go kind of it was just heartbreaking. It was just like
It's
so
devastating.
emotional because you can see like you can feel it off of him,
Yeah.
where especially when he starts like going into he's just like all I've ever wanted to do was this is all I've ever wanted. I just wanted to be the guy that like made sure everybody had a good time, that they when they spent their money they left feeling like it was worth it, and I loved being that person. And uh yeah, so essentially he's just like I have to, I don't know what's coming next. Like they apparently his knee might be so bad that it's that reconstructive surgery might not even be what salvages his
Yeah,
knee.
like possible, yeah.
So yeah, you can just really see just the emotion on him. He's obviously like very emotional about it. He's like very clearly upset, but like you got to understand like this is his whole life stream. This is
Yep.
all he's ever wanted to do since he was a little kid. And he says like I got to live my dream for the last year and it was the best year of my life. And he's like if I never came back to do it again, it would be okay because I got to fulfill my dream. I got to spend a year as the person in this company and that's all I've ever wanted to do.
I'll literally cry
And
again. I'll
it
cry
was
again for the third time.
um so yeah, so that's where we're at. He hands over the title to Gorilla Monsoon and he's like, here's your title. He's like, I'm gonna go home now. And yeah, and then he like makes his way. He like goes all the way around the arena. He's basically shakes hands with every fan that is like ringside.
That he's able to.
Yeah, he like goes over to like the announce desk and like they wish him well. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. It's just kind of
So
shocking.
crazy.
Like,
It's so remember when I said a few weeks ago that there was something was spoiled for me and I was so pissed. Like when I was looking into the controversy surrounding who won the Royal Rumble.
hmm,
And I was like, and something was spoiled for me, and I'm so pissed about it because I feel like if I found out in real time, I would be like so genuinely shocked. It was this. So
yeah.
like I knew it was coming. I just didn't know how like the way because as soon as I read it, I was like, no, no, no. So I like X'd out. So I didn't know why he forfeited the title. I didn't
Hmm,
know like what circumstances, like how it went down. And based off of like last week's episode, I thought it was going to be like an attitude thing. Like he was going to be like, you know what? I don't even need this title. Like I'm just going to, I thought it was going to be something like that.
hmm.
So this was devastating. I knew there was going to be a day where we were watching and I would legitimately cry
And it was
during an
today.
episode. Mark it in your calendars. It was today. It was this day, legitimately crying. But he was crying like I could not. It really was like so devastating to the point where like it didn't matter who you asked, who was talking, who whatever. They seemed so genuinely sorry for him, like for what happened. And like,
because it's just
even
so it's so brutal. It's just because
it's
he's like
horrible.
he is in the prime of his career. This is like the age that he is now is like the best you're ever going to be at wrestling, like the best you
Yeah.
physically could probably ever be, because you have enough experience to like be good at it, but your body hasn't been so broken down that like you're like physically limited. So like
Yeah.
this is the prime of his career, so like it has to feel like such a,
Devastating.
yeah, it has to be so heartbreaking.
It was so like so sad to the point where even Jerry the King like had no shitty thing to say or like
No.
he was literally like, yeah, honestly, if I was a betting man, like I would bet that he would come back. Like nothing can really keep him down. I was like, even that like tender moment from Jerry, I was like, gee, literally crying.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
I this is gonna sound so cheesy and I'm so aware of that, but like the fact that it's Shawn Michaels too, and, like, he literally says, like, "Love me or hate me, like, for who I am, like, this is who I am," and, like, the fact that again, like, we talked about this so many times, like, the idea of, like, masculinity at this point and, like, why he's so controversial, like, as a figure because he is so he really flexes the spectrum of what masculinity is, and the fact that he is the champion and he's forfeiting the title and he's just like in front of a whole crowd of people in front of managers, Gorilla Monsoon, like bosses, like people, important people, and he's just getting so vulnerable and talking about like how this was
Mm-hmm.
really his dream, how much he loved it, like literally crying and just being
Mm-hmm.
so honest and so genuine and tender, like I feel like is just huge. Like
Oh, it's
so
huge.
just mind-blowing. Like especially because it's him and especially because like that's the very reason he's so controversial as somebody to like love or hate.
Right.
But I just like it was so gut-wrenching. Like just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely gut-wrenching. Like I am so shocked.
Yeah,
So shocked.
yeah, because it's just there's just so many like he just won it. He's in the prime of his career. Like there's just so many factors in it that just like you just like wow, that's a brutal pill to swallow. Like that's
Yeah.
both
And even
as a fan and I imagine the company itself. That's a brutal pill to swallow.
yeah.
That is tough, especially the position that the WWF is in currently, as far as they are getting their ass handed to them by the WCW in terms of ratings.
Mm,
So to have their biggest star suddenly get just like absolutely yanked is a hit. Like
so
it
bad.
is their biggest draw. Like that's rough. That's a hard one. Um
Yeah. And the fact that even was like again like so vulnerable was like yeah, like I've lost my smile. Like I need
yeah.
to like I have no toughness left for anybody. I need to go back and work on my smile. Literally like
Mhm.
crazy. They flashed to this girl in the audience and I was like this girl is me.
Oh
Like
yeah.
she
One and the same.
make makeup did, hair did, nails did, literally leaning so far over the railing crying and just like holding on to every word he said and I was like this girl is me. Like I feel her so hard. Like it was so sad, but I just yeah, I don't know how I would have reacted if I didn't know this was coming because like I knew it was coming and it was still devastating and shocking. So
Mhm.
I if I had not seen this coming, I cannot imagine. I probably wouldn't even be able to speak about it. So
Ugh. So
oh God,
So
such
we're
a
gonna see
mess.
a little bit less of Sean for the next little while.
So
And
sad.
yeah, we're gonna just, as the WWE does, just pick up the ball and keep moving.
I cannot imagine that meeting where it's
No,
like, all
that
right,
that
well,
must have
they
been
had like
tough.
we had a whole thing and now we gotta back to square one and
Crap.
scrap it. I live
Uh,
for that stuff though. I feel like I would
oh, same. Absolutely
love
same.
to be there.
Uh, all right. So in our next contest, we had Savio Vega taking on The Undertaker. Savio Vega is now part of the nation. He got the whole nation treatment for his entrance today. Still hasn't gotten a new outfit.
I mean, I actually thought I thought for 1 second he did today, and I was like, oh, finally. And then like he turned around, I was like, oh, just kidding.
Nope, it's the same one. Um, this match was physical. They were all over. The Undertaker came out something fierce in this one. He was tossing Sabio around in the beginning. Like,
so good.
and Sabio's like short but stout. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
he was throwing him into the corner. He was like eating him into the other corner. He's big booting his ass in the face. I was like, all right, Undertaker, you're everywhere.
Like, just so good. I love the Undertaker
Oh,
so
absolutely.
much. I mean, goes without saying.
Savio, of course, leans into the nation thing. He low blows the Undertaker. There's a lot more like taunting the crowd. He does seem a little bit more confident, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We'll put it that way. And yeah, of course, the nation gets involved. The Stooges on the outside. Anytime the ref is like dealing with Savio, they're like choking out the Undertaker on the bottom rope. Just just being general nuisances as they do. The crowd got really into it with a rest in peace chant that just kind of pissed off the like Savio. You can tell he's like looking around, like, what is going on? I was like, did you expect anything different? That seems naive on your part, but okay. The Undertaker picks up the victory, but immediately upon the bell ringing, the entirety of the nation and Farouk and Crush come out and just start wailing on the Undertaker. Just because because it can never be just the Undertaker wins and goes on his merry way. It's always got to be 8 guys like coming for the Undertaker's neck, like always.
Like, you wish. Like, y'all seriously wish. Like, this is from a place of jealousy, and I know that.
100%. It's because he's that bitch, and you wish you were that bitch.
You mad doggy? You mad doggy?
So the Undertaker is getting his handed to him when Ahmed Johnson, much to the delight of the crowd, comes out to, save the day.
We'll bury them together, babe.
I know, honestly, the power couple of the century.
I can't.
And so he comes out. There's a lot of like back and forth between the nation and Ahmed Johnson and the Undertaker until eventually the Undertaker and Ahmed Johnson like clear house. It's just the two of them kind of like standing tall in the center of the ring. And then we get into the next match.
Crazy. You can't tell me they're not in love.
It's because they kissed.
I know, Xavier, we were watching it, and Ahmed Johnson runs out and he goes, it's because they kissed last week. And I was like, you're so right. They totally did.
Oh my God. We are the worst.
The worst. But also, like,
the best?
I mean, like, you can't tell me it's not true. Just
I know. I choose to live in the world I live in.
Yeah, I'm not asking for help out of it. Like, I'm here. I'm here.
Reality has no place. So
no. That's why I'm here.
You can get that out of here. So, in our next contest, we had Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on Psycho Sid. This match was made because Psycho Sid was supposed to be the #1 contender for Shawn Michaels' title, but this is kind of his little consolation match before he gets his actual title match, because he will no longer be having a title match at the pay-per-view, as we know.
Yes.
So,
was that...
that was when Gorilla Monsoon comes out and kind of explains the fatal 4-way kind of situation.
Yeah, so I guess like Psycho Sid is going to get a shot at the title with whoever wins the fatal 4-way.
On the Monday after. So, yeah. So that'll be 2 episodes from now for you guys.
So exciting.
Very, very exciting. So, the match is like, it's Stone Cold and Psycho Sid.
They are dressed identically.
They literally like the Bopsy twins.
Black trunks, leather vest, sweaty.
Black boots, sweaty. Period.
The same.
They are hating the hell out of each other in this match. They are both just like not holding back at all. There's like one clothesline that Sid does on like Stone Cold, and I swear he like like in like a cartoon when someone gets like knocked down, it's like birds just like circling
and
his
stars.
head.
Yeah.
I was like, I could see him.
Night.
I was like, damn, he really just walloped him.
Ooh, yeah, I thought it was like decapitation. Like, I thought that man's dead.
Amen.
But
and so Bret Hart, who is just on a tear, comes out and decides that Stone Cold's not the only one that can just start showing up everywhere. He said, you know what? I know my way to the ring. Like, so he shows up and starts attacking Stone Cold, knocks him out of the ring, gets Psycho Sid disqualified because of it. So then Psycho Sid is out here just like, hello, like, do you mind? Like, do you mind?
So mad.
So they're yelling at each other, and then they start getting into it, and then they bring out like every referee that is on staff whatsoever,
Oh my God.
including Earl Hebner, who came out in a leather jacket. I thought that was the funniest thing to me. I don't know why.
It was so funny. Xavier was like, man, they caught Earl on his smoke break, and they're like, Earl, you better come in here. We need all hands up. And he was like, damn it, and like throws the cigarette down, like runs in because he was in like outside attire, like he was like fully not prepared to do this.
No. They were like,
so funny.
They were like, Earl, get in here. I was like,
all
we need hands
on deck. He was like out there probably like flirting with somebody, like, yeah, like, you know, I ref for the and then he's like, oh damn it. And just like I can just
have to run back in. Yeah.
When you said that, I was dead because like I just know that's the truth. Like I feel it in my spirit, and I love Earl because he's like, all right, I'm in. Like he's just that guy.
He's like, all right,
here I come. Who is it? Okay, yeah, I'm coming.
These two again? Jesus.
I love Earl.
So after that, we get a promo from Vader and Paul Bearer in the locker room. It's mostly Vader. Paul Bearer's just there.
Yeah.
So I like it was a decent promo from Vader for like the most part. Essentially the gist of it was like, can any of these other competitors say that they have beaten the other competitors in the last couple months? He's like, I can. I beat Stone Cold twice, I beat the Undertaker twice, and I got one over Bret Hart. Who else can say that?
This was like, he was like a normal voice.
Yeah.
Which shocked me. Because normally I feel like he's like growling or like it's like, and he was like, yeah, so I beat the Undertaker. And I was like, who? Hello? Right. Which I liked so much better. For some reason, it scared me more. Because I was like, oh, that's just a man. That's just a normal man who's gigantic.
Yeah.
That's scary to me than just being like, he's just an animal. Like, like,
right.
This was somehow scarier because you're like, oh, that's just a guy.
Yeah, no, because
big guy.
When you just assume he's like a rabid animal, you're just like, oh, like he's just going on like instincts. You know, there's not much, no think there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, but to like put a mind to that's
scary.
That's rough.
Really?
Also, if you're talking now, like,
just feel like trim the fat.
Honestly, at this like. Do you need Paul Bearer? He didn't even talk. Like he just like stood in the back. I described it. I said, we saw your vibe from across the bar. Like that's what it was giving. Paul Bearer wanted Vader to go up to somebody at the bar and like
my friend thinks
act as his wingman. You know what I mean? Like I was like, this is weird.
Paul Bearer was literally behind, like in the crook of Vader's shoulder, like this, like
the whole time.
And literally, it's like my homie thinks you're cute, and you're like, him. I'm so tired. I was actually gonna close my tab and leave, like, but okay, bye.
Bye.
So bad. Yeah, but as far as Vader promos went, I thought this one was like pretty fine. Like,
yeah, it was decent. I was here for it. They definitely gave him the Oscar treatment when they started playing like music over the end of it.
Yeah, they're like, okay,
they were like, all right, wrap it up. We're on a time crunch, and you're like, oh, all right,
girl.
So the next match is the British Bulldog and Owen Hart taking on Farouk and Crush for the Tag Team Championship. Another surprise I was not expecting.
Shocking. Yeah.
Because they had just put the titles on the line. So the real question mark in this is, who's Clarence Mason managing? Because he is technically the manager of the British Bulldog and Owen Hart, and he's also technically the manager of Farouk and Crush. So is he just the like, you know, it would have been funnier to me if he actually ran from corner to corner. I would have loved that.
I'm saying I actually feel like they should have played up the fact that more, like, because I was like, wait a minute. I was like, isn't Clarence Mason like both of their managers? Like, so who's he managing? Because I feel like even just the last couple of weeks, they've only mentioned that Clarence Mason, or JR mentioned like it's a management issue. We talked about this last time, where it's like Clarence Mason is so wrapped up in the nation that he's not managing his other clients very well, i.e. the British Bulldog and Owen Hart, and there's like a lot of discord between them. And so I feel like for how insane that is, I feel like they should have played it up more, like
right?
how ridiculous this is.
Or make it like it was like his long-term plan all along was to like snipe these
Yes.
guys while they were on top, break them down, and then get the titles on their new guys. You know
Yes,
what I mean? Like
especially because Clarence Mason has a history of like
the shady, the shisty dealings,
yes, the
the like
shisty lawyer stuff. Like it just, especially because wow, they really could have done so much more with this. Especially because he was the one that negotiated Crush to be in the WWE.
right.
Like like
There
I just feel like you could have done so much more with this.
right. He was completely underutilized in this match. They didn't even make mention of it.
No.
They did and which is like, what? I was like, how does this work? How is this not a conflict of interest? How is he like, what are we doing? Like, I'm
And
so
they like not
confused.
even like Bulldog and Owen being like, "Hey, like
Remember us?
remember us? Like hello, like no one's mad about this." Like it's just so weird
Right.
that they did this.
Yeah, they could have done a lot more.
It really flopped.
So during this match, they do cut to Bret Hart, who is watching this scenario going on. Why he's watching this match of all matches, I don't know.
Also, he's watching it like sideways. Like which I get. Like
Yeah,
he's
like
supposed to be like he's like this, like he's playing to the crowd. He's like this and he's like looking at the TV
like he's watching television like through osmosis. Like it's just not
like
it's
he's like side by side with the television thing like what's up, buddy?
no, yeah, anyway. But he actually they asked him about Shawn Michaels, and essentially he gave a very like honest and very respectful like kind of like response. He's like, honestly, like he's like, it sucks. He's like, it's a
Broke
loss
my
for
heart.
everybody. Uh he's like, I believe he'll be back. He's like, I want to face him. Like I have my own like issues with him, but he's like, nobody's worked harder than Shawn. This was obviously his dream. Like it you never want to see somebody like lose their dream. You know what I
Yep.
mean? But
I
he's like,
literally
that's
did
not
a little unhappy face. I was like, Bret, moment of sincerity, unhappy
right. It was
face.
it
Because I
was
was just like,
nice.
God,
And so
so sad.
yeah, and then Vince goes in the most like weird about face. He goes, and your match with Vader. What about it? And that is the second time, or second or third time, that he went into a interview where he was just like, "What about it?" And I'm like, "What is this?" All of a sudden, like I was like, "Come on,
He's
what?"
literally like that guy's just like, say something crazy.
Yeah,
It's like,
or those like it's giving those TikTokers that just like run up to people with their like stupid questions, and they're like, "Tell me a thing," and you're like, "Get away from me."
yeah. Oh my God. Like, stay back. Yeah. But yeah, it went from this like beautiful, tender moment of like, man, like I want to face me, such a good wrestler, to like, all right, now tell us about how you're gonna beat Vader.
And then
It's
he
like,
goes,
okay,
he's like,
like
wrestling Vader's like wrestling a cement truck. And we were just like,
which was like literal spit take. Like I was like, oh my God, because he wasn't even trying to be like funny about it. Like he was like, yeah, like wrestling Vader is like wrestling a cement truck. You just and I was like, what did you say? Like,
what a visual.
dang. That twirly whirly like cement truck, like constant like
Oh,
spinning.
I was like, okay.
Okay.
So back to the match. So they are isolating the hell out of the Bulldog. They are doing
Yeah.
an excellent job keeping him out of his corner, like hitting Owen so that he can't like get the tag,
Mm-hmm.
making excellent use of the referee's positioning as far as like taking advantage, their little tag team moments. They're oh my god. Yeah, so there's one point in the match where who is they? Why do I keep saying they? I need to use actual pronouns. Where Crush has the British Bulldog in a leg scissors, and Vince
You guys.
Vince just like cuts away. He's just like, wouldn't you like to be in like, so he's like, speaking of leg scissors, like, wouldn't you like to be in a leg scissors from like La Femme Nikita, and like goes into like the commercial for the television show, like the Femme Nikita,
Yes.
and we were just like, shut up,
It
Vince.
was so bad because, I don't think we've talked about that, or maybe we have, but the last like few weeks they've been doing promo for the show that directly follows the Monday Night Raw, which in this case live Thursday Raw, whatever. And it's La Femme Nikita, who's just apparently like a hot ass girl who fights people. I really have no idea the premise of the show. I've never looked it up, never whatever. So that's my bad.
Yeah.
But she's a hot, beautiful woman doing cool stuff. Good for her. And like literally, it was so out of the blue. It was literally, how would you like to be body scissored by the Femme Nikita? And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, I mean,
is that on the table?
Yes. I mean, like, are you saying that's an option? Because
sure
thing. I was like, it was the very decisive use of the word scissor that really drove it home. Because it's not like, would you like to be like, I don't know, like leg kicked or like clotheslined? It wasn't like, it was just probably the most sexual thing you could have used.
No, other than like pile driver. Like
I was gonna say pile driver, and I was like, no, because that one's also very sexual. But would you like to be like, I don't know, like clotheslined sharpshooter? Like, right, I don't know, anything else. But no, we had to use scissored.
So at some point in this match, the referee is dealing with Farouk and Crush in the corner and misses a tag from Owen to the Bulldog. He turns around and Owen is, of course, he's gotten in the ring because he did make the tag. So he's attacking Crush from behind. And when the referee informs him that he didn't see the tag, so that he needs to go back outside. And the match continues from there. Eventually, Owen gets the tag and Crush knocks him over the top rope outside. And he starts holding his knee again, just like last week. He's just on the outside, just holding the knee. And I'm beginning to see a pattern, Owen.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about all that.
Once again, Owen gets counted out and then leaves the British Bulldog in the ring, just getting attacked by both Crush and Farouk after the fact. And he's like trying to like get in the ring, but like his knee hurts. So like he can't get up into the ring, but he's also like walking. So like it's and weird. So the British Bulldog comes out and he's like, what happened?
Hello?
Like whatever.
Yeah.
And like Owen like points to like his knee and literally I don't know if you heard it, but you can hear the British Bulldog go again. Like, oh, you hurt your knee again. So
girl, especially coming after like off of Shawn Michaels literally leaving for a knee reconstructive surgery. It's like the knee. We're gonna go with the knee. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. So no, I was just gonna say the Nation technically wins the match, but
not the title.
Not the title.
Yeah. Also, Owen goes back for the slammy. He like leaves it, and he like is having Bulldog like basically carry him, and he goes, "Oh wait, hold on," and then he goes back and gets the slammy,
which is just a nice touch.
Hysterical. I also, before we move on from this match, I want to quickly mention that Crush got a new haircut. He's finally done with the braids.
Oh my god, thank God!
He looks so much better.
Yeah.
So much better. So he like took out the braids and he has like the sides of his head shaved, which they might have been before. I think the braids just like threw me off and I didn't even remember that was a thing. And he was wearing it in like a half up, half down little moment. Yeah. So cute. Love
so
to
much
see
better.
It.
So much like less offensive than just like this gargantuan white man with tiny braids. Like just
no. It was the right choice. Good job. Looks so much better.
Amen. All right. So in our main event, we had Bret Hart taking on Vader. So one half of the Fatal 4-Way is taking on each other. So the Undertaker, wow, I just ruined it.
Oh my god.
It's okay. I'll just cut it.
Yeah.
Bret Hart and Vader make their entrances, and then the Undertaker's gong goes off.
Crazy.
And the Undertaker, it all goes black. The arena fills with smoke. The Undertaker has Doc by the shirt and is just holding him the whole time. And he goes, "We got to talk about respect and how I don't seem to be getting any anymore." And then and then he goes and essentially like goes on to be like, when you all look into the eyes of the Reaper, you know that you can't beat me. So this is what you have to do. Essentially, he's like, and I'm essentially he's like, I'm here to put you all on notice that you will rest in peace. Does the little eyeball thing, which is terrifying.
So scary.
I was so scared of that when I was a little kid. I was
Were you really?
Oh my god, it was so scary. I was like, where did his eyes go? Where did his eyes go? I fully believed the Undertaker was like supernatural when I was like a little kid. Like,
I love that. Oh
um,
my God, I love that. I wish I could like watch it as a kid because I know I would feel the same.
oh yeah, I fully thought he was like a legitimate like
Like an entity.
person with powers. There is definitely somewhere in my parents' like garage or something, a story that I wrote that has the Undertaker, Kane, and then Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat,
Oh my God.
like all on like a weird team. Like
That okay, we need to find this. We need to locate this. We need to have a reading. That is so
yeah, I don't
cute.
know where that exists. It's probably like in a notebook in my mom's, like in one of those like bins stacked up high in my mom's like garage.
Oh my
So,
God. Well, we must find it one
LOL.
day.
Uh,
Wow.
so
Shoot.
the match kind of like continues after the Undertaker puts everybody on notice. He's like, "Okay, I'm out. Bye."
Bye,
And then so he goes to the back.
a
Um,
gentleman.
so the match is like continuing. Bret Hart is like bodying Vader. I am impressed that
It was crazy.
he was throwing Vader, like moving Vader around like he was like a similar weight to him and not like 2 times his weight. Like absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I literally put Brett is just casually throwing Vader around like it's no big deal, and it's a very big deal.
Very big deal. Very big deal. But before the match even like got started, I neglected to mention that Stone Cold, uh, had to get his receipt in. So he comes and attacks Bret Hart before the match starts, and then
Yeah.
he eventually gets like ejected, only to
Mm-hmm.
make his return in the balcony
So
section.
good.
He said, "I got the cheap seats. Don't even matter." And then he's just yelling at Bret from the balcony.
I love it.
It's just such a nuisance and distraction. Just like, "Ah!"
It's one of the most beautiful benefits of this being such a small auditorium because like when Ahmed Johnson's like sitting up in the rows or whatever, or like Goldust and
Mhm.
Marlena, like they're a presence, but they can't like interfere really because they're kind of too far away. There's like more space, there's more whatever. But like Stone Cold just on this second floor balcony, it feels like he's literally right there and he's like yelling. You can hear what he's saying, you can understand. Like it was so, so good. Like just
Uh,
so good.
so yeah, so we're at a point where Vader has Bret Hart down in the corner. He sets him up to like do the Vader bomb, and then uh he like looks over and he sees Stone Cold just like hollering, and they cut the camera to Stone Cold. He's like, "Do it!" Like
Do it,
he's like
do it.
just like absolutely like here for it. And then so I guess that like hypes Vader up, so because he takes it from a Vader bomb to the Vader moonsault, and I'm just like, don't do it, don't do it, just
Larry
don't.
Xavier's going like, not the moonsault, not the moonsault, not the moonsault.
Not the because it's terrifying because there's no reason this 400-pound man should be doing this. Like
It
it looks great. It
it's
like
so insane that this man backflips off the top rope. I literally cannot even comprehend it physically in my mind. It's just otherworldly.
no, it's not even like a bad moonsault. Like it looks good. Like it's
It's
not
beautiful. It's
um
gorgeous.
so, but as beautiful as it is, he missed it. So Vader goes splat, and Brett immediately rushes in, gets the pinfall
Wastes no
victory.
time.
And then the episode ends with like Stone Cold just like climbing over the like barricade, or like trying to climb over the barricade and just like still hooting and hollering.
Like he was gonna dive from the balcony into and like fight Bret Hart. I don't even know. But it was funny because like he encourages Vader to do the moonsault, which goes awry. Brett wins, and he like Stone Cold has a moment where he's like, "Yeah," because it's like he wants to see both of these people lose because
Mhm.
he's fighting both of them. So either way, as long as they beat the crap out of each other, it doesn't matter really who wins or
Right.
loses. But then like Brett and Stone Cold start like exchanging words, I guess, and he's like, "All right, I'll throw myself off this balcony right now," and he starts like he's like screaming, cursing, whatever, trying to climb over the balcony. Like all these people are just like restraining him from like literally killing himself, probably.
Right.
Like it's just so it's just gotten
Ridiculous.
so built up, which is how it should be, and I can't wait for it
Mhm.
to explode. I just
No,
can't wait for it to explode.
I think they like did a like they were really lucky that they had this match to like pivot to. because
so
like
true.
it's so high caliber that like you almost feel like you're not like getting cheated, like, and they're not like,
of course.
but like there is that worry, I guess, when you have to make like a last minute like card change, that people will like be upset. But I think because this was like waiting in the wings and could so easily be turned into a title match based on the participants, that it just like worked out so nicely. And the fact that I'm pretty sure like everybody like going into this week knowing that it was going to be like made the title match, that they were like, go in. Like everybody needs to go in on this one. And it showed. Vader's promo was on point. The Undertaker even came up for an impromptu promo. Bret and Stone Cold were all up in each other's ish. Like they really stepped it up to be like, to make it more as important as it needs to be for the title.
And yes, absolutely. And they all had matches.
Agreed.
Like they all had a match, because it was so genius of them to put Stone Cold up against Psycho Sid when it wasn't going to be Shawn Michaels. Like I think that was just so genius, because now it's like, okay, maybe they would have had just Stone Cold interfere, which is also, we love to see it, but like to have him in an actual match against somebody who has literally held the title before is so smart and just so good. Like,
amen.
Nailed it.
Amen. So next week we are going to be in for the In Your House, the Final Four pay-per-view. All right, guys. This is it. That was this episode.
That was this episode. She just snuck up on us. It was crazy.
So,
and now we have this pay-per-view, the Fatal 4-Way. I'm never going to recover.
Oh, amen. So we would like to just thank you all, for those of you who did vote for us for the best wrestling podcast category in the Sports Podcast Awards.
Yes.
Voting is done now by the time this comes out. I don't know what the results will be because we're recording early. We'll fill you in.
We'll let you know.
But we just want to say thank you. We appreciate anybody that took the time out of their day to do it. This is just a fun thing that me and Kelsey do. So any kind of recognition is just more than, I'm in it for. So
just icing on the cake.
Exactly. So thank you all. This has been another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. Tune in this upcoming Saturday for the first episode of the New to Wrestling podcast After Dark. We are going to be discussing the Vince McMahon lawsuit, as well as the season 4 episode 1 episode of The Dark Side of the Ring, Tammy and Chris.
Crazy. Yeah.
Crazy. All right, guys, stay tuned and have a great week. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.